Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We have entered the Warden's Cellar. So let's see if we can find the big man himself, or if it's gonna take slightly longer than that. Either way, we are gonna give it a good effort. Bit of a battle between the undead and the insectoids going on here. Either way, the winner is gonna be me. Which is always good. So far, dealing with groups of things coming through a doorway is pretty darn doable. That's the nice thing about Panetti's, which I think is that it's single target and AoE. It just spreads to targets as you attack them. It's pretty good with just dealing with just rooms full of enemies while you are standing outside, and luckily this game has quite some rooms that are filled with enemies. And the further we get, the more niceties we will actually just add on top of Panetti's. Now we get some piercing, we get some stunning. I think later on we get bolts that explode for even more sub-projectiles. Later on we might actually be getting closer to that as well. We've been leveling pretty great. And of course, once we have our mastery maxed, we will get of the full 3 skill points per level to use for assigning it to maximizing our skills. Things are going to be pretty good. So far, we're blasting through things pretty quickly. A lot quicker than previous builds, if I remember correctly. Okay, we gained yet another level, which is good. Maybe I should not move in by accident. So, 1, 2, and then... let's see, we're doing pretty decent damage, so let's do another pass over the bonuses. So, we do Pierce, and this, of course, it also adds to the damage. Then next up, we are gonna add another supercharge, and that's 5 more points, so that's gonna be 3 more levels. Then we get proliferation, which will add more fragments with radius and more ether damage. So ether damage is actually, interestingly enough, if you look at the base skill, it's all elemental, but the ether damage, it is gonna stack and it's gonna be pretty interesting and pretty relevant later on. So you die. Yes, thank you. Have a quick look, anything in the room here? Nope, not really. This is just... I was hovering over something over here. There's a crate, okay. No, there's no point in backtracking to get there. So those mobs get to live another day. Lucky them. Let's see. Wait, bend up here. Anything over there? Nope. Anything here? Still a nope. So we get surrounded, we freeze them. Okay, we have a little bit of regen, so that does help us. Eventually we'll have to make the regen a bit stronger. Because, well, regen is pretty important to have. Also, this is just a room we pass through. A lot of toxic damage. Also a whole army of zombies behind us. This is not the kind of situation you would prefer to be in, but we deal with what we are dealt. I did see there was a boss a couple rooms ahead. I saw the star on the map. So that's probably a random elite, come to think of it. I think there are specific named ones. See that one, Mesmer. Well, I think it's technically a random elite. It might be actually be a named one that you see here more often.
I can't do that yet.
Isn't this the one that has duplicates of itself? Yeah. Exactly. So they're just clones since they don't drop additional loot. And you, stop attacking me. Thank you. Let's have a look at the loot. So we got a couple of green items. Oh, earlier we leveled to level 20, so we can now equip the new armor we got last episode. So this is more energy regen and there's some resistances on here. Some health, some defensive ability. So win-win-win. So we equip it, and because for level 20 we gain access to the level 20 socklables, of which Silk Swatch is interesting. It gives you pierce resistance and bleeding resistance, which are both difficult to get. Now after you get the basic 4, those are the next ones you want to go for. Let's see, we got ancient armor plates over here, which is nice for physique and for armor. Spine carapace for some retaliation. And I think we're just gonna go for the Silk Swatch. Nice enough to get. So we got an Ether Fire offhand, which is a +3 to stun jacks, but it also boosts fire, lightning, ether, electrocute damage, offensive ability, energy regen, extra casting speed, cooldown reduction. This is not a bad offhand. The downside, of course, is we lose the +1 to Panetti's, but we gain a whole bunch of damage. So this is worth checking out later to see how it impacts us. This is just a sword, that's not actually relevant. Hey. But yeah, the caster items, they are definitely gonna be interesting and definitely gonna be worth checking out. Contrary to both of my previous Let's Plays, where I never actually had any use of caster items. Okay, and the quest continues in the next area. Underground Transit, which has a waypoint. Very useful. A bit guarded, though not officially guarded. Not like with the waves that you get in Burwich Village. We have our Guardian pet again, which, well, behaves okay-ish. It's not totally useless, but smart is different as well. Yeah. Hello there, overseer. Here, have some meteors on your face. Let's see how we can advance here. Also, interestingly, so far I have been attacked, but I'm not really taking a lot of damage. So, presumably mitigation from the bubble I've got around me, combined with some life regen, is actually paying off. Or the fact that I've got the Guardian standing next to me. Maybe they are attacking the Guardian more than me. Might also be a reason why I'm taking less damage than I would expect to. Okay. Let's see. Secret passage. Always fun. Yo, stop just dying or something. Yes. Ooh, spiders versus undead. It's not quite plant versus zombies, but does have a little bit of a similar vibe. Stuff you would find in your garden versus stuff that you don't want to find in your garden. Okay, we can't actually shoot through the staircase, so let's get down here to take care of these spitter spiders. Which does have a funny sound to it, spitter spiders. It just rolls off of the tongue, interestingly. Okay. More spiders coming through. Well, that's not actually spiders, they're just rift scourges. Just do check out the stuff over here. And we can go back up. Okay, there's another crumbling wall behind here, which is gonna lead us through. Whole bunch of bristly fur. That would be nice to pick up if I wasn't constantly being harassed by these mobs over here. And again, if they are close together in packs, especially nicely with these ranged guys, you have to hit one, and then the fact that the missiles spread around really help to take care of their friends. Another green armor and a Flockrix to burning.
That skill's not ready.
I'll just keep throwing meteors and stuff on his face. Bye bye. Ooh, heroic spoils, that's always fun.
I can't carry anymore.
What else? We're full. Let's see, was this useful? Ooh, Ring of Steel when you get hit, but it requires a ton of physique. So how are we in terms of physique? 7 points spent versus 11 spent. So let's boost spirit by a little bit. And I don't think this is gonna be overly relevant for us. It's not a caster armor. That's it. Let's actually go to town. Empty our pockets and then move on.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
Let's see, boots not really useful. Also, let's just merge all the magical items first. 9 health regen per second, holy moly. Let's put that one to the side, shall we? Swords, we're not gonna use that. Axe, we're not gonna use it. This helm is not really good. Pants, yeah, not really. Better pants, but retaliation, no movement speed, no resist. Yeah, whatever. Don't really care. So let's sort this. Let's see, sword, scepter, or actually it's a mace technically, but it's not a caster mace. Offhand, chaos damage. We're not dealing chaos damage, so that becomes irrelevant. Demolitionist, Rift Scourge, Claw of Electrocution. Nice if you're a demolitionist. It has +2 to the skills there, up to different skills, but the bonuses are wrong. This was not really relevant. A helmet or a hat. I mean, these look really cool. I want one, but it has to have good stats. I don't think this is as good as I want it to be. Frostburn. Another one. Ooh, Arcanist, Rift Scourge, Claw of Electrocution. +1 to Della's Hidden Hand and Iskamra's Elemental Exchange. So, right class, different skills, and bonus to acid is wasted on us. We'll keep this one around. And the body armor, we need to extract the dense fur. So let's have a little chat with this lady over here. Keep the add-on and push this one back. Okay, ready to continue. And we can pick up the pants. So, all spiders nicely lined up in a row there. And another thing we can continue with, more scrap. A lot more spiders. Okay. Serrated spike, useful. There's some small artillery spider over here. Bigger artillery spiders over there. Oh, a corpse. Oh, almost overlooked the corpse here. Did I see Arcanist written on this? +1 to Calidor's Tempest. Well, it does add 21 cold damage. So it's not as bad as it could be, but I really would like to preserve the +1 to Panetti's. Okay, and we are back in a pretty densely populated area. Let's clean it out a little bit. So, works pretty well. Really curious to see how things will stack up later on against stronger bosses. No, the Undercity, things like that. I'm curious about that. Really want to see how it goes. So I think this might be stronger than I had anticipated. In addition to just being plain fun. Underground transit, okay. This is actually something that resembles a road and a ruined shrine. Very excellent. Here. And nothing actually of value dropped, but we did get a devotion point. So we were going for the owl, which starts off with 10 spirit, then we get cheaper skills and elemental resists, and then we do some extra damage. But that's gonna be another 3 points before we get the owl completed. Okay, so let's see, deal with these guys then. I'm gonna point out something on the map. So normally if you spawn and you follow the transit itself, you end up going through the tunnel corridor and you exit from here. In this case I took a bit of a detour and went through all the rat and spider caverns and tunnels, and then you approach from the top side rather than through this tunnel over here. So, well, left way, right way, either way, you get where you end up. Which is the transit. I think we're probably gonna make it to the next waypoint and then call it an episode, and then next episode continue with the Warden. Well, depends a bit, we'll see. Well, this is at least a good spot to farm some crystals, since you will need them for crafting. Oh, I'm getting surrounded by cold ones. Luckily, we can deal with cold ones. So I think in my previous playthrough, at some point the ether crystals became a bottleneck for crafting, and I think also for just refunding some skill points and things like that. So now doing a full clear here and killing all of the crystals, it's useful in the long term. I think that is something that they generally did pretty well in this game, and that is the crafting. Most of the crafting materials have some endgame value to them. It's a bit tedious to craft the really high-end relics, but then again they are not required in normal difficulty to actually play the game. The first tier relics are... No, they are doable. They require a little bit of investment, but they are craftable. And everything beyond that is for your repeated characters or for higher difficulties and things like that. And they are just improvements or upgrades over what you already have. Similarly to a lot of the other crafting, the crafting recipes and the higher tiers of socketables. Let's see, another more skill points. Let's see, we picked that one last time, so now we get supercharged, and next up it's gonna be Panetti's. Let's see, another crystal. But yeah, no, the fact that these Easter crystals, you pick them up this early in the game, and in the end of the game they still have a value to them. Yeah, that's very useful. That's I'm not quite sure if Titan Quest that this game is based on did that as well. It's been too long to remember details all like that. But no, for example, Path of Exile also does the crafting really well, where all the crafting materials have value throughout the entire game. Which is a pretty good, interesting contrast with how Diablo used to do it, where the crafting materials gathered in normal difficulty didn't carry over to higher difficulties, for example. Even though I think they now have unified it, so you get crafting materials that are just useful throughout the entire game. And I see a waypoint ahead. So let's clear out some crystals and then we move on to the waypoint. And another one. Yes, yes. Yep. It's also nice that the zombies linked to the crystals will die when you slay the crystal. Or crack it, explode it, whatever you may call it. Hello there, Flash Warp Treasure. Goodbye, Flash Warp Treasure. Okay, we made it to the hidden laboratory. Next episode, we are gonna continue from there. And just take our time to search out the Warden and defeat him. Let's see, did we find anything that's relevant? Yeah, this was the corridors, so it's not gonna be overly relevant. Okay, well, that was it for this episode. It was short and it was sweet. And I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.